Right, it definitely feels like autumn. Had a bit of sun today, mainly cloud. I've no idea what we're going to talk about today. It is the Sunday, what I call Sunday vlog, so I'll just normally have a chat what I've been doing throughout the week. So I have done a few things, but in general, pretty much an uneventful week. We had a bit of wind yesterday, the first named storm of the season, Storm Amy, and I hope everyone is okay. I mean, luckily we missed the worst of it here. Still got a little bit of wind, but luckily it was actually coming from the west, so this is where the garden is sheltered from the wind, so we can see by looking up the tops of the trees are sort of blowing quite well, but the garden is very still. Right, so what have I been doing this week? Not a lot, like I said. I have done a few little bits. If you can remember, before I redone this area and put the new sable palm in, I did have a echium which flowered this year. So I had to cut that down to get the new palm in. But since the last few days, I've actually noticed there's a few seedlings coming up. I have plucked a few out and potted up. I just want to see, because I know they're quite fussy when it comes to root disturbance echiums. They really don't like any root disturbance whatsoever, but I think if you can get them when they're small and really careful, you can pluck them out. So at the edge here we can see a lot of weeds and that come out. This is just where I've redone the border here, but if you look closely, that's a weed. This is an echium. That's a weed. Got a bit of grass. This is an echium here. Like I said, I've dug quite a few out, but we have got them basically coming up. The more you look, the more you see. And even in sort of plant pots, we can see we've got some coming up here. I did, before I cut the echium down, I did actually keep a lot of the seeds as well, so I'll be growing some from seed next spring. And the ones I've dug out and potted up, they already have a head start. I'll be overwintering them in the hothouse or whatever. So yeah, so you know, preparations for next year's already begun. Like I discussed last week, I did have a Edenidium morellii in the centre bed, just sort of faux planted, sort of pot buried in the ground. So I popped that out now, because the nights are getting a little bit cool. We've had a few sort of cooler nights now, sort of below 10 degrees. We had a few 8 degrees, a couple of 7s, so that is cool enough, and that's not going to do anything outside now. So that's now been moved into the hothouse for the next month before it goes indoors. So I did swap it out. I was going to swap it with a banana, but because of the winds, no point. So I've swapped it for this cord line. So this is the lime passion one. So that'll be there till proper winter come, and I'll pop that out as well, just to protect it, to keep it looking, you know, mint like it is until next year. Then I'll probably actually put that in the ground somewhere if I can find a space. Yeah, so even though, you know, we're in October now, things are, you know, air temperatures are cool enough, but the soil is, you know, the ground is still warm, so it's a good time to plant perennials, because even though the foliage might be sort of weaning away, the roots can still get established. So what I got last week, this little cornice, nice variegation on that, you know, the white variegation, which sort of turns a pinky in the autumn. So that was a purchase a week and a half ago. That's half price, about £6, so that's gone in. So that can root in for the next month or so before proper cold sets in, and that'll just give me a bit of variation from a lot of the green in that area. I have also, at the same time as I've got that corner site from the Suffolk Plant Centre, when they had the half price sale, I got a lot of the heucheras which I had in pots, and I was placing them about, see where I watered them, and sort of come to where I watered them basically. So I've planted them now. So we've got the Midnight Rose, we've got the Berry Smoothie there, and we've got the green ones here, which I believe do like to keep a tag for each one so I don't forget. Carnival Cocoa Mint. Yeah, so they're evergreen because a lot of take these peonies for instance, they've seen their best now. They're starting to, the leaves are turning colour, they'll start to die down, so yes, sort of opening up areas for the evergreens to shine through. So I did have a big peony here which I have cut back now, and that's actually revealed a hellebore which had been covered all summer by that peony. Well, it's actually a couple of hellebores there, so you didn't really see them in the height of, you know, growing season, and now it's sort of time to shine for the evergreens. Again, we've got a nice evergreen there, Viburnum Davidii, really good one. It's now sort of coming to flower. Yeah, so you just appreciate the seasons changing. Yes, it's a shame that some things sort of stop growing and start dying down, but in another sense that just opens up different viewpoints for your evergreens, which maybe would have been hidden by the herbaceous growth. Yeah, so the leaves are starting to change colour on the trees. It is, like I say, sort of first week of October. We expect that now with the winds and with the season we've had, very long, hot, dry season. I'm surprised they've held on to their leaves so long, because quite often when it's dry they'll drop their leaves sort of premature, as it were, but they're on the right track. Yeah, so again, it's just sort of walking around, seeing what I need to do. I have pulled out a couple of pots of alocasias and colocasias which were sort of just stopped growing, and there's no point, that they were just sort of gap fillers. I've still got the bigger ones in the corner here, which I like to leave to the last minute, as it were, because these will be kept dormant over winter, so I don't mind these sort of dying back and, you know, going into a natural dormancy, but some I like to keep growing for as long as I can. So they've been moved to the hothouse, the ones that were sort of tucked in the borders, which, because they stopped growing, you didn't really sort of notice them that much anyway. Yeah, so the elephant is, it's been a really good season I've found for the colocasias, especially the pink Chinas have really done well, but they are looking a bit sort of wind battered and a bit sorry for themselves now. And to be honest, they grew really well for the first half of the growing season up till sort of midsummer, and then they were just in flowering mode. They didn't want to produce any more new leaves, and the leaves they did produce were quite small, like this one, just due to the nature of the flower and the way they work. If they're in flowering mode, that's all they want to do. And again, I've cut so many flowers off these. I've left a few on, but I was cutting them off just in the hope that would encourage more growth, and not really. And the growth it has pushed out after the the flowering is not huge compared to some of the bigger leaves we were getting before. Yeah, interestingly, I did pull one of the old flowers off to see if they had seeds. So this is the, once they flower, they don't seem to flower for long, maybe a week, look nice, and then they sort of die off like this, and then they sort of shrivel up to this, and then if you peel that bit back, that's what you're looking at. And I've got no need to try and grow these from seed, because all these plants, all these colocaceae here, especially the pink chinas, that I've got millions of them, and they've just been sending out runners everywhere. But I thought it might be interesting to try it. So what I might do is, I've never tried growing colocaceae from seed, but perhaps if you have, you could let me know and let me know if that works or not. But I've never tried it. But what I might do is give it a go. So I'm going to let these sort of dry out over winter and keep them cool and dark, and try them in the spring, just out of interest. Like I say, I've no need for any more plants. I've got loads, but why not give it a go out of interest? Yeah, so again, didn't really have a subject coming into this video. I just thought I'd pick up the camera because I haven't done a video for a week, and I don't really like to go much more than a week. It's a funny time of year. Like I say, it's not quite cold enough to worry about digging things out and moving stuff in and this, that and the other. It's still good to have a walk about and have that plan in your head, what you're going to do, what you are going to sort of protect in place, as it were, and what you want to dig up, or whatever your situation is. Yeah, so I really haven't got that much to dig up, to be fair. Just the Enset Geneva there will be dug up. I think other than that, just having a quick scan around. Don't quote me on it, but it's not really nothing else I want to dig up. Anything else I'm going to leave in the ground, and anything that is sort of half tender or needs protection, that'll be left in the ground and protected in position. Again, like with this banana here, the golden lotus banana, that's been left in the ground for the last 3 years. Even a really cold year, that's always come back, with loads of pups as well. And it's done alright this year. Never flowered for me yet. Maybe next year might be the year. One plant that I weren't quite sure what to do with is this one. And you have to forgive me, the name has just completely escaped me. It's one of the ones from Farmer Gracie, the purpurea, crinum lily, that's the one. Crinum lily. So this is one I bought last year. Didn't really do much last year at all. I planted out in the garden this year, and it did flower. It sort of got buried a bit, like most things do in all the foliage in my garden, but I'm going to protect that in place. I'm not going to dig it up. I have heard some people leaving it in and just protecting it, and that seems to come back, so we'll give that a go. Nothing to lose, so we'll definitely try that. Yeah, other than that, I think we'll leave it there, because like I say, I think I would just be annoying people by keep talking when there's not really that much to talk about, other than, which has just come to my head actually. I will be going around and collecting seeds over the next week. It's been a bit wet the last couple of days. I like to do it on, when it's dry. So there's really no need to collect these amaranthus seeds, but I will collect a few, and trust me, there's plenty there to collect. you'd only need one of these little bracts to have thousands of seeds, and when you've got when you got a flower head like that, which is just ridiculous. I mean, there's seeds everywhere. So that will self-seed, but what I will do is just to guarantee I'll take a few seeds and start them off next year, because I don't normally bother, but they do normally come up everywhere, and you can just pull them out where you don't want them. But in general, I mean, when they're small, they do get attacked by slugs in my garden, so I might just grow a few in pots, and then I can place them exactly where I want them, where they'll actually look good, or where, you know, where I think they'll look good, rather than just coming up randomly like this one did, which I've left it, but I mean, it's not the ideal position. It's supposed to be sort of all low grown stuff in this new bed here, but yeah, that was the exception to the rule. But I've got lots of other seeds I need to collect as well. I'll have some canna seeds from the dwarf cannas. Let's just have a quick look at that. I've already collected some from the Russian Reds, which I talked about last week in the video. Now, interesting, these ones, which do tend to seed for me every year, have not actually got any seeds on them. It's strange, because I actually grew them from seed beginning of this year. Anyway, so I've got quite a few little dwarf cannas in there. I don't need to really grow any more. I was going to grow some if I had some seed, but what I will be doing is collecting some seed from the coleus. That's been flowering for a month or so, really, probably more. So I will collect some seeds from any specific coleus that I want to keep. So I've got some of the Kong coleus down the bottom of the garden, which I definitely want to keep, and these ones I definitely want to keep. These ones seem to be really resistant against the slugs, whereas some of the others have pretty much lost all their foliage, so I won't really bother with that one. But this one is a particularly nice colour as well. So yeah, I will be collecting some seeds from that, and just having a general look around and see what else I need to collect. I do need to dig out some of the cannas that are in the wrong place. I always have a few which somehow seem to pop up in the wrong place, like this one. That's Bird of Paradise canna. Don't know what's doing there. That's sort of blocking the view really to the Xanthodecia White Giant, or Hercules, whichever one you want to call that. So that needs to come out, and I've got quite a few in various places which just need thinning out. So I will, when we get the first sort of really cold frosts maybe, and the foliage start dying off, I'll probably maybe just before that actually dig up, just split the rhizome, pot them up, and so I can start some off next year early and leave some in situ. Not because I need to dig them up, just because they do tend to respond quite well to being divided out, and that certainly gives them a bit more space to grow as well, rather than a huge clump. They do. I mean, I've got a Russian Red here which has been in the ground for about 3 years, and it's sort of maxed out at 6 foot, this one. Whereas if we look at the ones down the bottom of the garden here, or depending on how you look at it, at the top of the garden outside the back of the house, these ones we just looked at were like maxed out at 6 foot. These ones, I mean, the ones we just looked at were this level. These ones are considerably bigger, and these were just literally a division from the ones we just saw. So sometimes that just revigorizes the rhizome and just gets it really ready to grow again. So, but these ones are all in the wrong place. I planted these here just as a filler, really, because this is really when I've done this raised bed here, this is new, beginning of the season. It was only supposed to be a palm bed, so we've got the Butiagris aerospather, which is, considering it's been sort of drowned out by the cannas, is still looking pretty good. That's been growing well. We've got a Trachycarpus tequil, and we've got a Djibouti, and we've got some small sable palms in here as well, dotted about. But yeah, it's supposed to be, the palms are supposed to be the main event, and as usual I thought, I've got an idea. I've got a couple of cannas in pots, little ones. I'll chuck them in the ground just to fill a gap, and basically I've just took over. So that is, these are all going to come out, and from one little 2 litre pot, each one of these cannas was a 2 litre pot beginning of the season, and I'll be able to divide that into 4, 5, 6 plants each of them, so I can get them out and let this breathe again, because the cannas look fantastic, don't get me wrong, but they're blocking a lot of light to the palms, and the palms aren't going to grow as well if they're not getting full sun. So it's never supposed to be a leafy tropical bed, it's supposed to be a palm bed, so they're going to come out. Yeah, so that is my thoughts this week and what I've been up to. We'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.